So here we are, 1 year later after Rainbow Rocks with Friendship Games. This series has always been an interesting series of movies because to me they've always seemed like they're going to be the worst in the series, but so far they've been able to hold their own with Rainbow Rocks being an actually really good movie that I enjoyed. So, what's going to happen with Friendship Games? Let's find out. Our adventure begins with our heroes gathering up because there's some sort of emergency. And right off the bat I feel there's a problem.
Sewing a very complex applique on my latest frock.
And I was just about to tuck everyone in for the night at the shelter. Now we'll have to start stories all over again.
Most of the dialogue in these scenes feel like they were intended to be jokes, but instead come off as filler. And I know it might seem obvious why these particular characters would say these particular lines, but I feel like we've done this before. It feels like filler in the sense that they're just being given throwaway lines. Rainbow Dash is trying to show off, Pinkie Pie says something absurd, Rarity says something fashion related, and Fluttershy says something animal related. It's like when they were writing it, they were saying, alright, let's have Rarity say something Rarity-like before we can progress the plot. It feels formulaic. Because none of this actually moves the story along. If anything, the emergency text was just to get Sunset to the school so that the plot could progress, but all these lines felt like I said, throwaway lines. But anyway, Sunset notices a mysterious individual snooping around the portal. Sunset scares away what turns out to be this world's Twilight, and we get our latest Equestria Girls intro, guided by the magical sperm. And so far all these intros have been pretty cool, mixing catchy music that sets the tone with appealing visuals. For starters, this intro takes a different approach from other intros by using the actual character images rather than silhouette type stuff like in the previous movies. And I for one kind of enjoyed it. It gives it this video gamey feel. As for the music, well, it sounded a little too high school prep rally-ish. You got the snare drums and that overall chant feel. And considering the title of the film is Friendship Games, I guess that was the intent. And I'm sure there's no need to talk about the composer Daniel Ingram in great detail. I've talked about him before in a previous video, but as a refresher, I'll remind you guys that I think he's a very talented musician. He's got a very distinct sound that has been either hit or miss for me. His music always feels grand and big. Maybe I'm not hearing it, but I just don't feel it. I mean, at times it sounds like it'll take on an appealing sound, but it ultimately reverts to that high school prep rally feel, which I'm not too big a fan of. Disappointing because the previous two films had intros that got me like, eee, and this one got me like, eh. Well, maybe it's just this song. We learn that this world's Twilight goes to Crystal Prep High, a rival school that has beat Canada High at pretty much every sports-related activity. With the Friendship Games starting the next day, I assume they're like the Olympics? Rainbow Dash gives a speech, or rather a song, to motivate the students to get pumped.
We fought magic more than once, and come out on top.
Yeah? Again, it's got that Ingram feel, but no, I just can't get behind the high school prep sound. It feels like I'm watching High School Musical. Okay, watching them side by side, maybe it's not as cheesy. Oh, but don't get me wrong, this is cheesy as hell. But I do gotta give Ingram credit because this song at least definitely sounds like it's one of his songs and it's following his style, whereas High School Musical songs sound like they were conducted by a group of market researchers with no heart or soul. It's just, let's take the latest pop sounds, what's popular today, and give it to the kids.
Is anybody else wondering how Dash ponied up without playing her guitar?
Anyway, Sunset is tasked with finding out how to keep the whole pony freak show thing under control so that when the games begin they're not accused of cheating, and Twilight has built a device that can track and contain the magical energy with a polylocket. And then we see...
Oh my God! What's wrong with your face? What's wrong with your face?
Principal Cinch is highly allergic, so I suggest you put on a clean shirt.
Why?
Because she wants to see you.
Ooh, maybe she has news about my application to Everton.
And then we get another song which finally isn't supposed to sound like that upbeat high school sound.
I've walked through all these halls before.
Instead, it's just a sentimental song.
I've been in and out of every door.
Yeah. But I gotta say, as with the other songs, it really feels like they're trying to go for that big feel.
Beyond these rooms, beyond these walls, so much to learn, I can't see it all.
Oh, bless your heart, Mr. Ingram. You were tasked with creating music for this cash-in toy commercial of a movie, and it sounds like you're putting effort. And when the song picks up, it doesn't sound bad at all. If the rest of the songs are like this one, I think I might enjoy this. So anyway, Twilight has been summoned by the principal of the school to talk about her application to transfer to some independent studies, school, program, place, things, stuff. The point is, Twilight wants something and this principal wants to talk about it.
Why did you ask to see me?
It doesn't matter whether or not Crystal Prep wins or loses. The important thing is that we are expected to win because Crystal Prep has a reputation. It seems Canterlot High is undergoing something of a renaissance. Test scores are up, grades, even athletics are on the rise. You see, they are developing somewhat of a reputation. This cannot happen.
It's just high school, lady. Chill out.
Let me offer you a deal.
A deal? Is it a really good deal?
In return for contributing your agile mind to these games, I will use my influence to guarantee your application is approved. Though I suppose I could also have it denied.
So she's pretty much blackmailed into competing.
Spike, I wouldn't leave without you. Just remember to be quiet. And try not to shed.
Did I hear that right?
And try not to shed.
Okay, I know she's saying shed, right? I just keep hearing... Never mind.
And try not to
You could try the end of the line.
I didn't mean to. I was just asking.
What's happening?
Really nice to see you.
Twilight, how you doing? Twilight, yeah.
Hi. Hello. Good.
She then bumps into this guy who surely won't be important to the story.
Cause I'm having deja vu here. I don't like him any more than you.
I gotta go.
Okay. Bye?
You're gonna exhaust yourself before the games even start.
They really love to recycle things. Okay, I'll stop that.
I didn't know Twilight had a twin sister.
She doesn't! That Twilight is obviously the Twilight from this world, since it couldn't possibly be the bed in it that helps power up other magical. Guitar was in a band and helped prove he didn't destroy all.
More recycling.
Never mind.
Also, we see that whenever anyone ponies up around Twilight, she absorbs the magic with the locket.
You're saying that Twilight's gonna play against us? She'd never do that.
Our Twilight wouldn't.
Our Twilight is a princess in Equestria and an expert in friendship magic. And if she was here, we'd have already figured out why magic is randomly popping up during pep rallies and costume changes.
I like that little bit right there. It really stays in line with that idea that Sunset is jealous of Twilight's abilities. It was just like in Rainbow Rocks when she emphasizes the fact that she's a princess in Equestria, as if to say she's all that and this would be no problem for her.
Maybe there's another way I could reach her.
Hey, let's go!
So the games get underway and we get another musical piece.
Take you out. We're gonna take you out. Take you out. We're not about to let you win, so get out of our way. Think you got us beat, but we're here to stay. United, strong, and we'll take you down. You're not so tough, now you're in our town. All of the times we lost before. Not about to give up, we're only bringing in more.
Like Rainbow Rocks, the musical sequences use the cartoon world to make it look grander than it really is. Also, seeing these two competing is pretty cool considering these two's backstory and history. Although this is human Twilight, they're both still rivals when it comes to intelligence, and I like that they show that this is Sunset's skill.
Incorrect.
Congratulations. You were really great.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Okay then.
Man, this whole Flash thing is kinda sad. So we see that Twilight and Fluttershy get to know each other, she ponies up, and Twilight unwillingly steals the magic, creates some portals because I guess the locket can't contain it, I don't know, and Doc Spike goes through one of them, gets caught in the stream, and gets the ability to talk.
Are you okay?
I think so.
Because why not?
quite a coincidence that the CHS students moving on to the next event are the same nice girls who were so interested in you. Perhaps you should get to know them after all. Who knows? Perhaps they will reveal to you the secret to Canterlot High's newfound success.
Alright, I want you guys to remember this particular scene because we'll be coming back to it later.
Well, it's your decision, Twilight. It's not as if your application hangs in the balance. On second thought, yes, it does.
Am I the only one who thinks this is overkill?
It's only overkill if you don't want to cram in toy ads.
Our qualifying competitors will face off in archery, speed skating, and finally, motocross.
Holy cow, how toyetic can you get? A high school competition that involves a motocross race? What? I mean, this is just so blatant toy advertisement. I'm feeling something, and it's not pleasant. Anyway, we find that because Twilight is absolute poop when it comes to hitting a target, the main characters are getting a good lead on the race, and Applejack steps in to help Twilight, which only leads to more magic stealing, and then this. Alright, let's take a break. Why does no one seem to care that there are monsters on the track? They notice them and acknowledge them, but are like, ooh, this is some foul play, like the time the Seattle Seahawks used orcs in place of humans, or when the Houston Rockets replaced their players with ants. So we have a little action sequence and some more magic stealing.
I'm sorry, it just started absorbing energy on its own, but I'm not sure how.
What do you mean you don't know how? Is there anything you do know? Like how to get our magic back? Or how to fix the portal to Equestria? You're supposed to be so smart, but did you ever think that you shouldn't be messing around with things you don't understand?
But I want to understand.
But you don't. And worst of all, you put the lives of my friends in danger.
I gotta say, I continue to like how they handle this character. Unlike other movies and cartoons I remember watching as a kid, the bad guy turned good guy tended to be an almost wishy-washy, instantaneous kind of thing. Here, it's refreshing to see that Sunset is still aggressive. It's who she is. And whether you believe people can truly ever change who they are deep down inside, I think we can both agree that no one can change so fast after living the majority of their life being a certain way. But Sunset, she still has some of those old tendencies. The way she talks to Twilight, the way she acts when frustrated, the way she talks about Twilight, it all feels natural. When she reacts angrily, it flows with what's going on in the plot, which makes it feel natural and believable rather than let's just have Sunset say something Sunset-like. Anyway, we see that the principal of the opposing school doesn't want to quit the games because she's convinced that Canterlot High is cheating.
You can't possibly call that a fair race.
Principal Cinch, we all saw what happened. Perhaps we should end the games now and declare a tie.
A tie? Was this your strategy all along, to force us into accepting you as equals? The games will continue and Crystal Prep will prevail despite your antics and whatever performance-enhancing regimen your students are on.
Holy cow, it's just high school! Good grief! What does it matter? Then college comes next, then professional sports! She's so obsessed with winning that she tries to convince Twilight to use the magic that her locket has been absorbing throughout the movie.
I realize that you've always been an outcast.
It's not everyone at school who likes to think.
And I gotta say, I really dislike this song. The visuals and the audio just make the whole thing feel goofy. And the funny thing is, that's all I can really say. I watched this scene like 5 times trying to pinpoint what about it just doesn't sit well with me, and it's basically just the whole thing. I know some of the other songs have felt over the top, but this is just ugh. But to be fair, villain songs have never really been my favorite kind of songs anyway. And this one in particular is just too goofy for me to get behind. Near the end, however, it tries to go for that big feel again, but by that point the damage has been done, and unlike the other songs, which I see a thing or two about it that I like, with this song I can't really find anything I like about it, and probably won't listen to this one again. locket, she creates this energy bubble thing which, whoa, you'd think the animators would come up with a different way of portraying this scene, knowing well that the character's skirts are above knee height. Everyone's getting a pretty clear view. Talk about awkward. Anyway, Twilight gets absorbed into this ball and... Jesus! Reminds me of when Sunset became Demon Sunset, except this time instead of tears you get this violent scream. And surprise surprise, now we got Demon Twilight, which I gotta say is a pretty good twist. For a show where I'm constantly knowing how it'll end, I honestly did not see this coming. The whole time I was thinking the principal was going to be the one who was going to steal the locket and transform. Maybe then Twilight would gain the courage to stand up with Sunset backing her up, but nope. We get Demon Twilight who starts to create portals to combine the two worlds into one.
Even with all that magic and power, you'll still be alone. I understand you, Twilight, and I want to show you the most important magic of all.
The magic of friendship.
So we get a quick battle sequence which I know a lot of people will be quick to point out seems like something out of Dragon Ball Z, what with the energy blast and spiky hair. Heck, I even just made a joke about Sunset going Super Saiyan. But we get a pretty hilarious way to end it all. Look at that face. It's almost like it's trying to make fun of itself. Like, how can we make the most exaggerated puppy eyes ever? This catches Twilight off guard, which allows Sunset to go all Jesus on her.
Take my hand, Twilight. Let me show you there's another way.
And then everything looks like it's pretty much back to normal.
I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I know. And going by my own experiences, they'll forgive you.
Yeah, only once you save the world. And the principal is still obsessed with the idea that Canada High is cheating? It's just high school, lady! Give it a break!
But I plan on taking all of this up with the school board!
And pretty much realizes that if she does tell the school board, she'll look insane because I guess every single one of these students who was there to witness these events isn't going to say anything at all. Now remember that one scene I told y'all to remember where the principal was blackmailing Twilight again in the locker rooms?
Pretty sure Cinch will be fast-tracking your application after all of that.
I've been thinking about it, and I'm not so sure now is the time for me to apply to Everton.
So, you're staying at Crystal Prep?
Well, it seems the students here at CHS know an awful lot about the subject. I don't suppose...
You could transfer to this school instead.
You mean Twilight could have transferred the whole time? Why didn't she go to her parents when she was blackmailed the first time? Tell her parents that the teacher was being a psychopath and was obsessed with high school sports more than should be considered mentally healthy? Even if Shining Armor and her parents have that mentality of it's important to represent the school, which we know Shining does, I doubt they feel the need for blackmail. Anyway, everyone's a winner, Sunset learned a valuable lesson about solving your own problems, Twilight is accepted as a new student, and that's the friendship games. How does it hold up? Well, that's the thing. I'm having a really hard time deciding whether I hate this movie or I like this movie. On the one hand, it only gives me more reason to believe that this series needs to end someday. There was no real progression in terms of character development in the movie other than Sunset, who has the benefit of being a new character, relatively speaking. The formula of this movie was basically problem, solution, the end. I mean, I guess Human Twilight is now along for the ride, so there was that major change. And don't get me wrong, in the actual TV show, the characters still encounter new problems that challenge their character, and we see subtle changes along the way. So maybe I'm being too harsh on the way the dialogue and the characters were treated in this straight television movie. And it is with that mentality that I also find myself liking this movie, because while it offered nothing new, it was a nice distraction. These are the same characters that we've come to love from 5 years worth of show content. And the toy pandering was just, oh, good God. This is as toyetic as you can get. I can forgive the vinyl scratch car because it's just one car, whatever. But here, everything you see will be for sale. Archery Applejack, Watercross Rainbow Dash, a whole slew of one-dimensional characters that will get dolls. Holy cow, this is Ninja Turtles all over again. And I should hate it. And I want to hate it. I mean, look, I'm always talking about MOP in my videos. I'm constantly bringing it up. And here it is, doing everything I say that it normally doesn't do. Maybe it does it better, but it's still doing it. I mean, this is as exaggerated as it's ever gotten in terms of breaking all the 1980 cartoon rules. In practically all my videos, I've used MLP as the shining example for how to do things right, and yet here it is betraying me and my ideals. And now I have a legitimate reason to denounce it, but I can't. I wasn't over-enthusiastic about this film, and you'd think that indifference would give me the same ability to just go nitpicking and ballistic on it, but I did. What I did to Dragon Tales, I can't do to MLP. There is a bias. Overall, it's an okay movie, but I know if I had a completely different perspective, maybe even a perspective from a couple years ago, I would have blasted this movie to high heaven. The day I've been waiting for since the beginning is right here in front of me, and it's not so much a matter of not being able to do it, but I don't want to. What really burned away that day?